Hello, hello, hello. It's Elizabeth, Countess of Low Carb here. Going to go live with Dr. Ken very shortly. And while we wait for Dr. Ken Berry to come, we have countessoflowcarb.com. We have a whole coaching. We are blowing up in our coaching program, and our coaching platform is Mom's Keto Kitchen Community. And I am just waiting for... So I'm getting it added, and hi, Dr. Ken. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. How's it going?
Good, 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 good. Someone in the last video told me not to screech when I see you, so I'll try to contain my excitement. Hi, Dr. Ken. But I really want to be like, hi, Dr. Ken.
Hey, it's good to see you again. How's my audio? Am I good?
You're good. Am I good?
Yeah, sounds great. Let's do it.
And I made it sideways. So we've got about 1 million questions here, but first let me introduce Dr. Ken. If y'all don't know Dr. Ken, it's Dr. Ken D. Berry. You need to know. He is, in my humble opinion, I'm just going to coin it, he's the keto expert doctor out of all of them. You need to go check out his book. It is my pleasure. It's a #1 Amazon bestseller, his book, and I'm going to put all the links for the book after we get off our video. Everyone needs to go read that book. If you have not read that book, you need to get out of from under a rock, because it's really, really, really good. Like,
thank you so much.
It's really good. And so go check out his Facebook, his Instagram, everywhere. You need to absorb yourself with Dr. Ken Berry's teachings, because personal firsthand, I cannot get enough of your material. So with that, I am Countess of Low Carb. My pleasure. Thanks for being here. So
I'm humbled, and I'm very glad to be back again on the Countess show. This is exciting. Let's do this.
Well, okay, so if people don't know me, I'm Countess of Low Carb. My 2 most important titles are being an amazing wife to my husband most of the time, and an amazing mom to my 2-year-old son. I'm a serial entrepreneur, own lots of businesses, and so I'm busy just like you. So there's no excuse. I've lost 50 pounds through the ketogenic diet, and I'm going for round 2 in 2018 to lose another 50 pounds. So Doc Ken, DKB. First question, what do you think, net carbs versus carbs? There's quite a debate in the keto community on this.
And so two things, let me say. First of all, thanks a lot for having me again. It's a pleasure to be back, and I love it that you're doing this. I love it that more and more people are doing this. This is kind of a grassroots thing. You know, this is not being pushed by the American Heart Association or the American Diabetic Association. You don't really hear a peep out of them about this, actually. Although they're all talking about it behind closed doors, you don't hear any public statement about it. But I predict within the next 6 to 18 months, you'll start to hear peeps coming out of the AHA and the ADA about, well, you know, the ketogenic diet's not so bad. We've really kind of thought it was okay all along. And when that happens, I want you guys to all remember that that's baloney, right? Mm-hmm. They were not on the radar with this. It was people like me. It was people like the Countess. It was people like Jimmy Moore, Jason Fung. Those were the people who were saying, hey, you should really back off the carbs. And so don't let these guys, you know, in their ivory towers, don't let them grab what you created. You guys did this. You did this from the ground up. This was a grassroots movement. And I want you guys to be proud of that, and I want you to own it. And I don't want you to let them steal it from you, because it's not fair. And they will. Trust me, they will take it away from you if you let them. Don't let that happen, okay? So net carbs versus total carbs. Mm-hmm. My entire message about the ketogenic diet is that it's easy and that it's cheap. That's what I want everybody to know. I want you to take that away. That's why I want to say that right up front, okay? Yes. So if it's up to you. If you are a counter and a recorder and a journaler, and if you want to do all that stuff, then by all means count net carbs. That's probably a little better. That's probably will get you there a little faster. But if you don't want to do all the extra busy work and just count total carbs a day, I think that's also fine. Okay. I think that fiber typically, and that's the other carbs in the equation when you calculate net carbs, I think fiber slows down the release of the carbs and the sugars and the starches to such an extent that it decreases and minimizes the insulin bump. Right. And so if you've been in this community for a minute, you know what I mean by that. Mm-hmm. And so effectively, if something has carbs like broccoli or asparagus or Brussels sprouts, mm-hmm. and has some carbs in it, no doubt, every vegetable does, but the fiber, if you eat that raw, slows down the carb and the sugar release in your bloodstream so much that it effectively is a zero carb food effectively,
Mm-hmm.
because it just doesn't bump your insulin level. And so therefore, I think that matters, in my opinion. And so I don't care about carbs if they're tied up with fiber like that. And so my answer is count either one, whichever one you are, with it enough to count that one.
Mm-hmm.
Or a third option, Countess, don't count it at all, right? Just eat super low carb, eat lots of fat, and let the protein take care of itself. And I promise you, you're going to have results from this diet.
Calorie counting?
Oh, don't get me started. Please, please, please.
I knew that was going to be your answer. I knew this was coming.
No, please. Counting calories. Here, let me put it this way.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow somebody on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube and they say, oh, well, blah, 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 keto is pretty good, but you got to watch your total calorie intake, hit the unfriend button, hit the unsubscribe button, hit the unfollow button, because they are literally do not know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Human nutrition and human biochemical digestion has nothing to do with calories, okay? I well remember when I was sitting in biochemistry as a second-year medical student and sitting in cell and molecular biology as a medical student, all the graphs, all the charts, the Krebs cycle, right? Gluconeogenesis, lipolysis, all this stuff, not a single time in any of those charts, any of those graphs, and any of those biochemical pathways did the word calorie appear.
Mm-hmm.
The human body has no idea what you're talking about when you say the word calorie. Your body
Mm-hmm.
does not count calories. If you eat 100 calories of bacon or 100 calories of Twinkie, those go down completely different biochemical pathways. They're not digested the same. They're not treated the same by your body. Your body has no idea what you mean when you say the word calorie. Dr. Jason Fung is a nephrologist, and he has a ton of great videos about counting calories is stupid. It really is. And I've got a video on the YouTube channel that's titled Counting Calories is Stupid, because your body doesn't even know what that means. Your body is much smarter than the average doctor, okay? And much smarter than the average nutritional expert you might see on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Your body doesn't care about calories. It doesn't care about any of that. It cares about, are you eating fat, carbs, or protein? And if whichever one you eat, I'm going to take it down this biochemical pathway, and then we're going to do the following things with it. Never does your body say, well, you've eaten too many calories today, therefore I'm going to put some fat on your butt or on your booty or on your belly. That's not how it works, okay? It matters what you eat, not how much. Portion size is irrelevant. Calorie count is irrelevant. And if you don't want to count, if you want to count total carbs, net carbs, or no carbs, I think that's pretty much irrelevant too, as long as you're following the diet.
Boom. Mic drop.
Sorry, I got carried away, didn't I? I'm sorry.
No, I love it. I love it. Because I love it. I love hearing what you're saying. So while we're going along things I love Dr. Ken's YouTube channel. If you have not checked it out, Dr. Ken Berry, YouTube, Countess of Low Carb on YouTube as well. Also check out Dr. Ken's book. Can I just I know I'm not, can I just say Dr. Ken? To me, it just seems so simple.
Sure, it's fine. Yes.
Okay. And while you're at it, folks, click the love button, the heart button. I don't like likes. I love loves. I love hearts.
Yeah.
And particularly
everybody hit the heart
Day,
button right now. Bump
hit
the Facebook algorithm so that
we
everybody.
want your friends to see this.
Yeah. And ask people to join her and follow her, because she's doing a ton of great work, and she's not getting paid for this. So, help her help other people. That's what you're doing by inviting people to join this.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Good stuff. Okay, so back to the questions, because I don't know. We're not going to have enough time today. I got flooded with
Probably
questions.
Probably not. But let's get as many as we can.
Okay. The biggest one that I got a lot of talk about was sugar-free products. Can you hit on your knowledge with sugar-free products? What your thoughts are with that?
So narrow it down for me. Exactly what were most of the questions about? Like,
should they have sugar-free? Should they
okay.
have sugar-free products? Is there a particular type of sweetener you'd recommend? What about these waters that have sweetener in them? The sugar-free sweeteners in the water. What do you think?
Okay, let's break that up into two questions. Let's first talk about products that say sugar-free on the label, and usually that's a baked good. Usually that's going to be in the middle of the store. And usually that's a trick, okay? If you're about to buy a baked good or a processed something that's in a cardboard box or in a plastic bag that says sugar-free on the front, or that says approved by the American Diabetic Association, then I would encourage you to put that down, and step away. Because even if it is sugar-free, it probably contains sorbitol, which is a sugar alcohol that's converted immediately to sugar as soon as you eat it. And so it elevates your blood sugar level, it elevates your insulin level. It might as well have sugar. There's no benefit from having sorbitol. And the American Diabetic Association has been recommending sorbitol as a sweetener for decades. I predict now in the next few months that'll disappear from their website, because everybody, the cat's out of the bag, basically, because of people like the Countess and others. Everybody knows sorbitol is a crap sweetener. Don't buy that. Don't use that, right? Because it elevates your blood sugar. So what's the freaking point? That doesn't help anything, right? And so if you're about to buy a baked good that has sorbitol as the sweetener, not okay. It's not ketogenic. It's not healthy. It's not good for you. If you're a diabetic, it elevates your blood sugar just almost as quickly as eating sugar out of grandma's sugar bowl. Remember that sugar bowl she had on the table that you weren't allowed to touch? That it's worthless, right? So don't buy goods like that have sorbitol or any kind of artificial sweetener, because if they're made of wheat or oats or any other grain, right, that's going to elevate your blood sugar just as quickly as if it had sugar. So don't do that. That's the first question. The second question is, what about sweeteners, right? So the sweeteners that I use when I'm trying to be strictly ketogenic, I use stevia or Truvia. I use monk fruit extract. I use that, and I have tried erythritol and xylitol and some other of the alcohol sweeteners that aren't as bad as sorbitol, right? And so Nisha and I are about to do a YouTube video before long where we can kind of compare them all, because our taste buds are different. I like stevia. I think it tastes great, but it's got a bitter aftertaste, and she doesn't like it. And so we thought we would just do a little video and kind of compare them all and let you know what's up with them.
Good.
And so I think that'd be a great video to do. But so here's the other thing. There's this thing in the human body called the cephalic insulin response, because remember I told you earlier, your body's way smarter than the average doctor or the average Facebook guru, right? And so your brain knows that if you're tasting something sweet, right? And remember, our genes came from 100,000 years ago. They haven't evolved in the last 100,000 years. We're exactly the same as our ancestors from 100,000 years ago. And so if they ate something that tasted sweet while they were chewing it up, their brain knew, oh, here comes some sugar. I'm going to go ahead and secrete some insulin right now. And it's called the cephalic insulin response. And it's well known in medical science and research that you can swish saccharin water or sugar water in your mouth and not even swallow it. Spit it out. 10, 15 minutes later, you check your blood insulin level, it's going to be elevated. Okay? So if you're trying to fast, definitely nothing that tastes sweet, that's going to break your fast. For those of you who are doing intermittent fasting as well. But so during the day, during your feeding window, if you're fasting, it's okay to have some stevia or some monk fruit or something like that, or even some fruit occasionally, but just know that's probably going to temporarily kick you out of ketosis. Is it unhealthy? Is it bad for you? No, it's not. I don't think so. But it is going to slow down your ketogenic weight loss, right? And so what we're trying to do with this ketogenic diet is we're trying to replicate how our ancestors lived 100,000 years ago, because they were all slender, they were all muscular, they were all vigorous and vibrant. They lived healthy, robust lives until they got eaten by the saber-tooth, or until they got an infection, or until they fell off the cliff, right? We're able to prevent those three causes of death, which are trauma, which are infection, right? And those sort of things now. So what we're trying to do is get back into that mind frame of, hey, we should eat the way our DNA wants us to eat. And that's what the ketogenic /ancestral/paleo, that's what all this is about. If you eat that way, you're going to reap wonderful benefits, okay? And so more and more, you should try to wean yourself off the sweet taste, because there are other flavors and tastes. When you're kind of addicted to sweetness, you can't even taste them, right? And so people who have done ketogenic for a while, they're like, yeah, you're right. Because used to, I couldn't taste whatever at all, or I hated the taste of whatever. But now that I don't eat sweet and drink sweet constantly, I actually like that taste, or I actually like that food, or I actually can taste that flavor now, where used to I didn't even realize it existed. That's part of going back to the kind of the ancestral way of doing things, and I think it's a very healthy thing. So Yeah, use the safe sweeteners in moderation, but try to limit them and try to slowly just kind of wean them out of your diet. I think that's the best long-term plan.
Good stuff. I mean, I love a Diet Coke. I love me a
Me
good
too.
Diet Coke.
And let me tell you, when I was in residency,
Mm-hmm.
I lived on Diet Mountain Dew.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It's just the one I don't know. Like literally I had, I wore white carpenter pants and I had a Diet Mountain Dew bottle in my pants pocket at all times, 24/7, because sometimes I wouldn't sleep for 3 days during my training. And so I had to have that caffeine. But at the same time, I loved Diet Mountain Dew. And now about once a month, I'll be like, man, I could really use a Diet Mountain Dew, right? And so I'll stop at the store, just kind of jonesing a little bit, right? And I'll go in and I'll get my Diet Mountain Dew and I'll take maybe 3 sips and it's like, oh, that's it, I'm done. And I'll throw it away. Yeah. But those first 3 sips, I'm like, yeah, that's so good. But then I'm like, no, that's it, I'm done. Yeah, I don't even like it anymore. But every now and then I'll get that craving, and why not? Go have a Diet Mountain Dew. It's not the end of the world. It probably knocks me out of ketosis for a few hours, but we got the rest of our lives to be healthy and vigorous and vibrant. Go have a Diet Coke. It's fine. Big deal.
Yes. Well, that was one of my questions. Is one of our gals accidentally ate coleslaw, not realizing it had sugar in it, and freaking out about the sugar content in it. How long is that? Something like that, or having a cheat, air quote, cheat keto meal. How is that? How does that work scientifically with kicking you out of ketosis?
So there are different answers to that. Some people say, oh, it takes 18 to 24 hours before you can re-enter ketosis. And I think it's probably 3 to 4 hours before you can get back into ketosis. Because if you think about it, when you sleep, you're fasting, right? And almost everybody, when they wake up from an 8-hour sleep, if they checked a serum ketone level, they're in ketosis. So obviously, all you have to do is fast for 8 hours, and you're in ketosis, right? So I don't think it's a big deal. Yeah, it's probably going to ruin part of your day when it comes to ketosis, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. And then I always like to say, let's think about this a minute. You're upset because you ate cabbage, right? Coleslaw. I mean, in my mind, that's a boom. That's a home run. You just ate cabbage, so I'm happy either way. And so you can make cabbage that's sugar free and cabbage is coleslaw is really great if it's not even sweet. I like it with vinegar, but you just ate cabbage, dude. Be proud of that, right? Don't even worry about that. But I would say within 4 to 8 hours you can be back in ketosis after you mess up and eat something that has hidden sugar.
Okay, good. And while we're on that line, going back to my hearts, throw up the hearts, folks. If you're watching this, give this video some hearts.
And please comment with your questions below. The Countess and I, we try to answer every question we can. So ask a short but meaningful question. Paragraphs make it really hard to answer the questions. And then also you can message me on my Facebook page. If you just send that page a message, but keep it short and sweet. That way I can answer as many as possible. But leave your questions, ask comments below, and we'll try to answer every one we can.
I think we touched on this last time, and it's up on our YouTube video for folks who missed it last time. Go check out our YouTube and on Countess of Low Carb, and then on Dr. Ken Berry's YouTube was talking about supplements. What supplements do people like? Do people need to be taking supplements? We talked about this last time. It's all coming back to me, but I keep getting asked.
No, it's fine. That's a question that so many people need to hear. So the ketogenic diet does not make you need any more supplements than you need if you're eating the standard American diet. And I want people to understand that, because when you go keto, when you're, this way of eating and way of living, you're trying to maximize and optimize, right? And so then you naturally start to think, well, do I need a supplement? And so a lot of the newcomers will hear, oh, if you're eating keto, then you need the following supplements. Not the case at all, okay? That's not true at all. Now, you may be limiting yourself on things like salt that you should stop limiting yourself on once you become ketogenic, right? But you don't need vitamin D because you're eating a ketogenic diet. You need vitamin D because you live in America or Canada or the UK, and maybe some parts of Australia. But you don't need it because you're doing this diet. This diet doesn't deplete your vitamin D. That's not what's happening. What's happening is you're more aware of your body and what it needs, and therefore suddenly you're like, crap, there's no vitamin D in the American diet at all. There's no vitamin D in the Canadian diet. And definitely if you live north of Tennessee, you're not getting enough sun. I mean, you could literally run around outside in your Speedo all day and not get enough sun. Your neighbors may call the cops on you, but you're not going to get enough vitamin D unless it's July or August. There's just not enough UV radiation. And so most people, in order to maximize and optimize their health, they need a vitamin D supplement. And I recommend most people take 5,000 international units of vitamin D3 a day and take it in an oil formulation. And you can actually buy the gel cap on Amazon with olive oil or some oil besides soybean oil, right? Which is what most of them try to put it in, but you can buy it without the soybean oil now. And I highly recommend you take a vitamin D supplement, not because you're ketogenic, but because you live on the planet Earth and there's just no vitamin D in the diet. Another one that's like that is magnesium. If you were to just line up everybody in America and check them, they're going to be borderline deficient or deficient in magnesium. Not because they're eating a ketogenic diet, but because they live in America and there's just not enough, you don't get enough magnesium, right? And so a lot of people need a magnesium supplement. And that's another thing, like the constipation that you hear about all the time. I see so many people every week in my clinic with constipation who are not ketogenic. They're not eating a ketogenic diet. Constipation is, I mean, how many products are on the market for constipation, right? All those products didn't appear when the ketogenic diet became popular. Those products have been around for 50 years. Chronic constipation is a huge problem, and it's because people don't eat the right foods. Now, and a lot of people just keep that quiet. But when we're in ketogenic groups like this or on pages, we're very open and we ask questions. They're like, hey, I'm constipated. What should I do about that? And so it makes it sound like that the ketogenic diet causes constipation. I haven't found that. I rarely hear that in my patients who eat ketogenic. I very rarely hear that. Now, I do hear it, but it's rare. And I think that probably there are certain people who are predispositions to have constipation, and the ketogenic diet might bring that out in a few people, but I think in the majority of the people, I think they have better bowel movements. What do you think about that?
So the Countess usually doesn't talk about such things, but the Countess will make an exception today.
But now that we're talking in a group, let's talk about this.
Yeah, I'll take my crown off my head and kind of get in, because I got questions about the opposite, like loose bowel movements.
Exactly. And if you're not used to eating a lot of fiber, right, and you're not used to eating a lot of fat, I can tell you're going to have loose stools. That's not dangerous. That's not bad. But about one person out of 50 seems like they feel like that the ketogenic diet causes constipation. And I don't really know how that's possible, but it is. And so that's just the difference in people. And I think the difference will probably boil down to the difference in your gut bacteria. If you've eaten for years with eating the grains and the low fat, high carb, then you've got bacteria in your gut that love that diet. And so when you start eating a ketogenic diet, you're going to shift that bacteria. That bacteria is not going to be happy with you at all. And sometimes the way your gut bacteria lets you know it's not happy with you is by giving you diarrhea or constipation, right? That doesn't mean you shouldn't do that diet. That means that you should keep doing that diet, because what's going to happen eventually is that bacteria is just going to go away. And you'll be repopulated with good bacteria that love the ketogenic diet. And then your bowels, your sleep, all this stuff is going to be so much better once you get keto adapted. That's what some of us say. But does that make sense? I think I hear more people say, I had loose stools for a while. Then now I'm fine. But there are a few people who talk about constipation. But I think if anything, you have more looseness for a few weeks, but then you get back to normal. But I think that's just the gut bacteria getting used to the new diet. I think that's all that is. If anybody's had constipation with the ketogenic diet, hit the frowny face. If you've had loose stools with the ketogenic diet, hit the heart. How about that? Because I don't know. I guess the heart, I don't know. Is that okay if you're loose? I don't know. But let us know if you've had constipation. Hit the frowny face.
Hit the frowny. When I woke up this morning, Dr. Ken, I did not think I was going to be talking about other people's poops. So
and
the day has taken a twist.
The world talking about their poop. Look at these people in their poop right here. Look at this.
I love it.
So we got hearts and we got frowny faces. See, and so I think that's a true indication of what's going on here.
True.
True. Some people have one, some people have the other, but ultimately it's going to be okay if you just keep eating the diet. I promise.
Yeah. I agree. Keto pea sticks. What do you think about these things?
I'm working on a video for the YouTube channel right now about this. when I first really started playing with the ketogenic diet, I bought a little jar of the pea sticks, and I did it for about 2 weeks. Nisha and I did. And yeah, okay, it's a thing. But here's the problem. When Nisha's in labor and delivery, she's a labor and delivery nurse, right? That's what she does. And so if if a lady comes in, one of the very first things they check is a urine, and that one of the very first tests they do on the urine is to see if there's ketones, right? Because if there are ketones, that means she's dehydrated or moving towards being dehydrated. Therefore, how much water you've had to drink today is going to affect how your ketone strip shows up. Right? You see my point? And so if you've drank a lot of water today, you could be doing great ketogenic diet-wise, but it not show on the stick. Or if you haven't, I mean, so the average girl that goes into labor and delivery and has her urine checked ain't eating the ketogenic diet, but yet they can turn it purple sometimes with ketones because they have also all they're drinking is Coke or sweet tea here in the South, and they haven't drank any real water, and so they're dehydrated, right? And so right away you can go, well, gosh, if how much water you've taken in during the day, if that affects what shows up on the ketone stick, then how reliable really is it? Exactly. That's my point. Yeah. And so it's fun to play around with for a week or two if you just want to see how dark you can get your stick by eating the diet. Now we're talking about urine, right? We were talking about, I know. We just went to the gutter today. But the take-home message is I don't think it's necessary at all. If you're eating the diet, I don't think you have to do that. I don't really think it gives you any additional information. If you're eating this diet properly, the benefits you reap and how you feel and how you look, that's going to give you the feedback you need. You don't need to pee on anything, okay? And we can talk about your urine and your poop if you want, but it's really not necessary.
So your wife, Nisha, how did you guys meet? Did you meet when you were both medically?
We met, kind of indirectly. She, back then, was before she had went back to school, and she was working as a nursing home nurse. So she's kind of done the full spectrum of nursing care, right? She's went from the oldest of old to the newest of new. And but she loves labor and delivery, and she's about to go back to school to be a nurse midwife. And so that's in the works right now, which I'm so excited. I'm so proud of her for doing what she's doing, because she literally she just doesn't give up, and she's very inspiring in that way. When I'm feeling kind of down, I kind of look at her life and what she's went through to get to where she is. I'm like, shut up, you baby, and get busy. So
that's
she she inspires me a lot. But she's been a labor and delivery nurse now for, I guess, working on the second year or 2.5 years now. Wow. She loves it. She's great at it. And she's really good at that, and she loves that. And so us as a couple, we have this huge perspective on medicine and how foods affect people, from, like I said, from the very old to the brand new newborn. And so it really gives us kind of a paradigm to look at the world, so that we're not swayed by, so-and-so said this or so-and-so said that. We've got this kind of full spectrum of medical care at our house that we can look at it kind of globally and go, no, that makes sense.
Cool. We are wrapping here in the next, do you have one more before we wrap it up? I got to go get my little boy from school, but
let me talk about one more thing. I just posted a new video on the YouTube channel about ketosis versus ketoacidosis. Yes. Okay, now this is a huge thing, and a lot of newcomers, they see somebody talking about this, some guru, and they're like, oh, I don't want to have ketoacidosis and die, right? So I just posted the new video, and you can check it out. But in a nutshell, let me just say as succinctly and as plainly as I can, it is impossible for nutritional ketosis or the ketogenic diet to make you have ketoacidosis. It is impossible. And again, if you see somebody on the web that says, and I've seen a couple of case studies where a doctor tried to say, well, they were eating this nutritional ketosis and they wound up in ketoacidosis. But then when you start looking over in the lab work, they were diabetic and their blood sugar was 250. That's why they went into ketoacidosis. It had nothing to do with the ketogenic diet. Yeah. So share that video. Use that as a tool. Yeah. If you have a friend or a neighbor, if your mama is afraid of the ketogenic diet because she heard that could make you have ketoacidosis, share that video with her, because that's how you're going to teach people, no, that's dumb. That's not how it works at all. Actually, you're protected from ever being in ketoacidosis if you're eating the ketogenic diet, because you're never going to be a type 2 diabetic. It's impossible if you're eating the ketogenic diet. So keep sharing that stuff, and just know you are safe eating the ketogenic diet, because human beings have only been eating that diet for the last, I don't know, few 100,000 years. And somehow we all survived, and we're still here. So shut up about the ketogenic diet causing ketoacidosis, because that's dumb. It doesn't happen.
Boom. For your book, New York, I'm secreting it out there.
Look over my shoulder. Look. Oh, just so happens that
there it is. There it is. How did that end up in there?
Just coincidentally, it just happened to be there. Okay, that's enough self-promotion. I'm sorry. I just couldn't.
I love it. No, everyone go get his number. I wasn't saying #1 New York Times bestseller, but I'm just putting it out there. And I'm secreting it. Not yet. It's #1 Amazon bestseller. It's #1 Amazon bestseller. And your new book about, I am so excited. I know you're still writing it, but I got so many comments. So next, I'm going to rope you in. Can we do a next Facebook Live? Because I would love to hit more on the anxiety, depression part of the keto diet.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's just do it again next week. Let's just make it a weekly thing.
Yes. Did your daughter win her basketball game? I was thinking about her.
Not that one. Not that one. No. But she's got a game tonight, and so hopefully we'll do better tonight.
Okay. Well, it was lovely as always. Everyone go check out Ken D. Berry's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. His YouTube is amazing, y'all. If you don't know, now you know. You need to go. I'm going to put all the links below. I'm going to share this video. Make sure you share this video, and make sure you hit the heart button. Change your frowny face to a heart. We need
That's exactly right.
I don't want to see any poop sadness. I don't want to see it today.
Listen to the Countess. She knows what she's talking about.
I can't wait to see you next week. Thanks again. Have a great day.
See you next time.